Hello, this is SI-13, a novel treatment for cutting tools. Tools sustain a lot of damage when they're operating on superalloys. This happens because superalloys are very strong. This happens on average every 15 minutes in the industry. It results in extra costs like replacing the tool, coating it, disposing of it, and transporting it. A lot of the tools are operating on the superalloys are high steel, ceramic, and diamonds, which are very expensive. The industries that face this problem the most are wind turbines, aerospace manufacturing, automotive, and nuclear power plants. Our target is aerospace tier 1 companies, which are the engine manufacturers for the aerospace. They have the highest requirements in terms of operations. Our solution is a very simple coating of SI-13. It requires only a few seconds, no extra facilities are required, huge reduction of friction, and it stops the existing micro cracks in the tools already. SI-13 will lower the cost by at least 200%. It will extend the life expectancy of the tool by 300%, and will entirely eliminate the need of a treatment facility. The entire market in the world is around $1 billion. In North America, it's around $260 million. The serviceable, attainable market for us is 52 million. And if we can get 10% of that, that's $5.2 million. Our business model is either inclusively licensing the product to companies over 3 years, or we're selling coating with the instructions of how to coat your own tools by yourself. Our competitive advantage is we are the cheapest solution in the market in terms of raw material and providing the solution. It requires a few seconds to apply it yourself, where in other companies it would require 6 to 8 hours to coat up to 80 tools at the same time, but in a $1.3 million machine, which we don't require. No maintenance required by us, no machines. It's a coating type that does not exist in the market. Other companies will provide you with PVD or CVD coatings, which are outdated currently. We have an IP that already approved in North America. Our team is a graduate team from McMaster University working with the Milo office. And that's our pitch. Thank you very much.
Abdullah, that was a very good presentation. I was wondering, what sort of evidence in terms of studies do you have for the claims of the 200 and 300%?
Yeah, so SI-13, the coating, has been tested in McMaster University over the past year and a half. It's been tested on Inconel 718, which is one of the highest performing superalloys in the industry or in the world. So all the results are from McMaster's laboratory.
It seems like what you're doing is incredibly disruptive in the industry in terms of being able to do such cost saving and in such low equipment needs, those kinds of things. Do you anticipate any barriers to entry because of skepticism?
Maybe not skepticism, but it's definitely hard to enter a market when you're trying to change it entirely, or you're providing a solution, as you said, that's like very game-changing. But someone has to do it. We want to be the first to do it.
So I'm curious what your strategy is to drive sales. How do you get the customers to try it for the first time?
Well, we've already agreed with a few companies, and we're looking at other companies right now to test out this coating or this solution in the market or in the industry themselves. So we want to provide them with coatings free of charge and have like a pilot program with these companies. And once we get the results from the industry, we believe they're going to be immediate customers at that time.
But if I understand you correctly, the customers themselves, with the tools that you're providing, will be able to coat their own tools?
They'll be able to coat their own tools.
Okay.
And what is the timeline on the next few steps, both the pilots and then the full commercial launch?
Yeah, the pilot program, we've already agreed with the companies, and we're planning to start in the next 4 weeks.
And when do you plan to move from the pilot stage to commercial launch?
January 23.
And so is the revenue model just a straight sale of the substance that's needed for coating, or is it a license, or how's the revenue model work for you?
We have currently 2 options, either licensing the technology itself to the companies, or we can provide them with sort of a raw material to be able to code it themselves. It's very easily instructions I cannot disclose right now, but
sure.
we'll provide them with all these instructions, and it requires no experience to do it as well. It's very easy and simple.
So without getting into anything that's proprietary, can you tell me a little bit about what will the end user have to do to coat their tools? Is it just immersing it in a something, or?
It's like a few seconds of pre-operations, but with certain instructions and on certain raw materials just before their normal operations.
Okay, so is it a spray on?
Yeah, hopefully you'll see it in the market soon.
I understand, but I don't understand.
So if you were to win LiONS LAIR, what would the funding help you unlock?
The funding will definitely go towards creating the raw materials and like combining it to make it an SI-13 product to provide it for the pilot programs.
Are the pilot programs bringing revenue to you?
Pilot programs are completely on us for now, just to get market validation and like customer satisfaction.
And so will you need to raise funds before you go into market in January of 2023?
Yes.
In terms of, again, going back to customer acquisition, do you expect that you will require face-to-face interactions in this industry to get people to try it for the first time? Or what is your preferred route?
Yeah, it's definitely, that's one of our main obstacles as well right now, is to get them to try it. Whenever we went for meetings face-to-face with companies or operators on these machines, they're always like, it's too good to be true.
Right.
Yeah, but a few of them have agreed, so we're just waiting for funding, or like we're going to start smaller and actually provide them, and we want to join them in this venture, like, to test it out and see the results in the industry itself while they're operating on it.
So have you already identified your first, partner in terms of testing the product?
We have 3 currently that have agreed to it.
Okay.
And what do you think the likelihood is? Like, I saw the total addressable market, or the market share that you think you can capture, is about 31 billion. Is that right?
To you if you want. We believe we can get 5.2 million currently.
Okay.
But
And is that really exclusively off that list of tier 1 names?
they fall under that.
The 5.2 million is coming from that tier 1.
It falls under. Yeah. This is all from the tier 1 aerospace companies.
Yeah.
And that's on a global basis, or is that in Canada, US?
This is, well, we have requirements for these companies. They have to be in North America with at least 1 branch in Ontario.
And is there any, is there any sort of certification or anything in that way that you'd have to get for these companies to look at your product?
A certification? Is that what you?
Yeah, certification or regulation or.
No, we've passed, like, the researchers at McMaster have already passed everything, like, in terms of requirements. The product is good to go and has already obtained an IP. We've already gotten approved, so it's ready to be commercialized.
So there's no safety considerations or anything that you need to be worried about?
Nothing that we have to worry about, or our customers.
Sorry, just trying to hold that in for as long as I could. So what do you think is your biggest obstacle?
Our biggest obstacle is getting companies to try it out currently. That was previously, but we've already passed that. So right now it's the funding plus playing the waiting game until to get the industry to, okay, this was actually super good, we want it. This is what we're waiting for.
I am curious, in terms of your production costs, how difficult is it to produce or to access, I don't want to say the chemical, but the coating material?
It's extremely simple and extremely cheap.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Those are two great answers.
Yeah, well, I can put it in this way. The cost of producing the coating is no more than 15% of what the industry currently is, the cost is in the industry to produce the current coatings.
Okay.
And you started with the tier 1 aerospace of the various options. What motivated that decision?
Good, thank you. That's a good question. So in tier 1, they manufacture mainly aerospace engines. The engines are made up of at least 50% Inconel 718, which I previously told you was one of the strongest super alloys in the world and what we used to test on our product. So that was an immediate motivation or a pathway for us.
Mm-hmm. And then what does the roadmap look like as you go beyond that sort of 5.2 million in terms of other tiers, other industries? Where do you go from that?
Yeah, so first of all, we're going to start trying to expand in terms of geographically or location. Mm-hmm. So our current restriction is Ontario, and hopefully Canada, North America in general. And then after that, we have a couple of options, either try to go worldwide, or maybe even look at other companies or other, how do I say it, customer segmentation.
I don't have another question. I think everything I had was answered.
No, I think we're good.
Yeah?
Yeah, thank you so much, Abdullah, for your presentation today.
No, thank
Great
you
job.
all very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.